What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, Urban Streets Podcast, where we dive into social issues, entertainment, real topics, and more. I'm your host, AC Brown, joined with M. Morris. Now, today we're gonna get into the topic, how the increase of marijuana usage and its potency is affecting our youth in the urban community. Now, I'm gonna play a reel as to highlight what I'm talking about. We're gonna get right back at you. Let's get it.
Dr. Clarko, if a teenager smokes weed every day, are there any long-term health problems?
Okay, so remember that the brain does not completely finish development until about 25 years of age in most people. And this is one of the reasons why they don't, most car rental companies don't rent cars to people less than 25, because our prefrontal cortex is that risk-reward center is like one of the last things to develop. So that's just a side note, but I thought it might be interesting. So just remember that developing brains are very sensitive to drugs, all kinds of drugs, including weed, okay? More so than older brains. And as a result, there's lots of things that will happen from chronic long-term use. Now, occasional recreational use doesn't apply. You'll probably be okay. But there are people who are, use the chronic a lot, right? So here's some of the things you have to be concerned about. Typically, decrease in problem-solving skills, decrease in concentration, decrease in motivation, decrease in overall coordination, decrease in overall just focus and thinking. And also, people who use the chronic, oftentimes they get anxiety, because anxiety and even some paranoia and depression as a result of chronic use. There's kind of a sweet spot, and when people are chronic users, sometimes they just pass that safe zone and they start getting some of that negative mindset stuff, okay? And then studies on developing brains and adolescent teenager brains have shown that chronic use of weed will decrease brain volume. That means it'll shrink gray matter and decrease the number of neurons in your brain, i.e. your brain is shrinking. And I don't see any scenario under which that's actually a good thing. So just keep that in mind and be prudent. Be sure to follow us for more recovery and addiction information. If you're struggling and need help, contact us in our profile below.
Okay, y'all. Now let's go ahead and get into this here. Now, I noticed through time and over the years, right, how marijuana been getting a lot stronger. I mean, that's stupid strong. I mean, that fire green, huh? You that with that fire green, huh? It ain't hard as it seems, huh? Right? So that's how that green getting these days. I know that sometimes the green got people looking like zombies out here. I mean, just stuck staring at walls. But that's bananas when you staring at a wall. That's not a TV, dog. So it's these days, man, if you look at the potency of marijuana, how it's affecting the growing brain. When you're young and you still got to go to school and you're trying to figure out what you want to do with your life. When you're dealing with high potency marijuana like that, it's going to affect your critical thinking ability. It's going to affect your energy level. In some cases, it's going to stagnate you. And it's going to make you run from your problems as opposed to addressing them. Because a lot of people use marijuana as an escape, to escape from their problems. But when you're young, you don't want to escape from your problems. You want to face them joints. You want to get rid of them. So by the time you get older, those problems don't exist. You see what I'm saying?
So AC, so you're speaking on marijuana use from just not saying you encourage it or discourage it, but you're just saying on what it is in the streets. People are using it, and the strand that's out there is stronger than what it used to be. Is that right? Is that the gist of it?
Multiple strands. I'm almost at the point, man, where I'm feeling like marijuana is the new crack. I'm almost there, bro. I am almost there, because I remember being young, man. I used to blaze all the time when I was a shorty, all the time, until I had ended up doing a bid. Okay. Yes, either here nor there. But then when I got out, I ain't smoke no more, and that just was just the way it went. But I noticed when I was young, they used to have Reggie weed. We used to call it Reggie Miller time. Okay. Right. And then if you had a little dough, you might be able to get some AZ or maybe some hydro, but that's about it. Hydro in most cases would be the highest marijuana you would get back then when I was a shorty. And hydro was cool. You can still function and all that. It don't make you stuck. It ain't stagnate you or nothing like that. But now you fast forward to these days, it make hydro like Reggie. Hydro is like Reggie Miller now. That's bananas. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. So people are not, in your opinion, I mean, and I'm sure you got, we got statistics on it. But people are not slowed down in their use of marijuana, but it's even more prominent. I think because of, like, with the decriminalization in some cities and some states, that makes people use it even more.
I would definitely think so because believe it or not, there are some people who never smoked marijuana because it was illegal. Believe it or not, there is people
Hmm.
like that out there. But now you
Yeah.
eliminate the factor that is illegal. Now you got even more people on the green. Now imagine when I say how
Yeah.
high potency it is these days. And if anybody out here smoke marijuana, y'all know, especially if you like older, you know it ain't nothing like the bud that used to be when you was young. You know that. So stop playing, right? Now imagine this. Imagine half the society of drivers out here when you driving on the road. Most of the drivers on the road with you is blitz. They blitz. They own the marijuana that have them stuck, and you in the road with all these cats, right? So now it's a
Okay.
proven fact that marijuana slow down your reaction time, right? And so
Hmm.
now that's gonna, in my opinion, gonna increase car accidents. Your reaction time is slow, right? And let's
Yeah,
even
because
go ahead.
no, go ahead, because in one of the clips that we went over, some before the show, and the one you played, that the one study from Cam H in Canada, they said, like I said, it was 11,000 people. I mean, this was adults that they just 11,000 people who use marijuana that they surveyed, and they said
Mhm,
they were 11 times more likely to come out with some type of neurological damage.
mhm.
So, I mean, I don't know if they're high on the road or not, but they do say that basically people who use marijuana can be up to 11 times more likely, according to that one, report, um, to suffer neurological damage. So that's not good.
Absolutely. You know what I mean? But a lot of people don't even focus on that dynamic because they look at it like, I don't know nobody that got neurological damage, right? A lot of cats look at it
Okay.
like, even when they hear studies, they be like, I don't know nobody that happened to. It's harmless. Your average marijuana smoker think marijuana is harmless, right? Because we kind of grew up
Okay.
thinking that. It's just, what Smokey say on Friday? It ain't nothing but green. It's just a plant. God put it here for me
Yeah.
and you, right? Smokey was
Okay.
said as a shorty. So a lot of people think that it's just nothing, right? It's just get blazed
Yeah.
and that's that. Then back to life, back to reality. But the truth of the matter is, when you young, because I'm mainly talking about the young smokers, and it's a
Okay.
proven fact, a proven study that if you start smoking marijuana around the ages of 13 or under the age of 16, it's 4 to 5 times more likely you will be addicted to it, right?
Okay.
And a lot of people say that marijuana is not addictive, and there's studies
Yeah.
that beg to differ, and I always beg to differ as well.
So are we thinking? And again, this concern that we're bringing today about this increased use of not only just marijuana but higher potency marijuana,
Right.
that's out there circulating, right? And younger people getting addicted, perhaps from 13 to 16.
Mhm,
This is a concern. I mean, what's the concern? I mean, average person might say, for example, well, it's me, it's my personal thing. It's no different than a cigarette. They might
mhm.
argue that, it's only
Well, cats know it
affecting
ain't no
me.
different
I
from a
mean,
cigarette. If
why?
you say it ain't no different from a cigarette, you just playing because a cigarette don't make you stare at a wall. It don't make you stare at a wall. It don't make you look like a zombie, and everybody know that. So if you say that, you just playing games. Not you, but the person. But go ahead though.
Yeah, I get it. So we're concerned about, like, young people doing it. Why are we saying that we're concerned about young people foregoing their future, or are we just, I mean, why is this a concern?
I'm gonna be honest. For me, especially when I think about cats from the urban community, right? It's already
Yeah.
hard enough for you because you're black. Let's just be real. Life is automatic. You
Okay.
automatically behind the 8 ball because you're black. So you
Yeah.
kind of need all your faculties in order to give yourself the best chance you have to succeed. So now
Okay.
when
Yeah,
you
I agree.
young, yeah. So now when you young and you blitzed and you blazed all the time, it's going to affect your critical thinking ability. And it also, again, might stagnate you. So you might not find it important to go from high school to college and chase your dreams or chase your goals because now you want to play a video game and get blazed all day. So now you're lost in the world of gaming, right? Because now you're blazed all day, you're playing games all day,
Mhm.
you're living up under your mama, and now you're about to be a couch potato. Now you're going to be an old ass Al Bundy goofy.
See, that I mean, that's an interesting point. and it really assumes that young people want to make something of themselves. Because if you are a young person that is not looking to achieve a thing, if you are a person who likes that, I don't know, is it a euphoria feeling when you're just zoned out and you're not getting
Yeah, I would
engaged?
say it is. I
Some
would say
people,
it is. I mean, funny things funnier. Some say
yeah,
it makes sensations feel better. Some say it makes sexual encounters feel better. So go ahead.
you're more attractive with it, I guess. I don't really know
More
the
attractive. Nah, if you ugly,
concept.
you ugly. It different if you ugly, you ugly. Weed don't change
Yeah.
that. It different when weed don't change that.
Yeah.
Go ahead though.
Yeah. Yeah. So the person who's just having fun as a young person and they're not ready to get serious with their life, they're
Mm-hmm.
saying maybe that, well, I don't need to stop right now because I'm not ready for all of that pressure that
Mm-hmm.
comes with real life. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
to me, it's mean if you're going to encourage people not to use marijuana, whether it's a low potent strain or high potent strain, you got to be dealing with somebody who wants to achieve, who
Mm-hmm.
feels like they need their mental faculties in order to
Mm-hmm.
be prosperous, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, let's just be real. If you don't want to prosper in this life, then what do you want to do? Hit different. Do you want to have no crib? Do you want to be sleeping under a trestle? It hit different when your mama and daddy kick you out, and now what you gonna do? What you gonna do? You can't play the game if you ain't got no outlet to plug the game in. If you live under a trestle, it hit
So
different if
then,
your TV come there. Go ahead though.
yeah, yeah, and so this kind of brings up a point. I mean, the marijuana, like we just talked about, statistically, is either you're going to be addicted if you start early, or you're going to be several times over more likely to develop some type of neurological disorder or something
Mm-hmm.
to that
Mm-hmm.
effect that's going to adversely affect your health. But
Mm-hmm.
to discourage somebody from using marijuana, a young
Mm-hmm.
person especially, it
Mm-hmm.
sounds like the issue is a little bit bigger than just marijuana. And like, you can't scare them by saying, this is going to hurt your health. It's like you
Mm-hmm.
got to scare them
Mm-hmm.
into thinking, what is my life going to be like if
Mm-hmm.
marijuana adversely affects it? So you're really
Mm-hmm.
dealing with internal motivation, it sounds like.
Well, I think a lot of times it work hand in hand because a lot of times weed does stagnate you. I don't know if you remember that song that came out back in the days when dude said, I was going to clean my room, but I got high. I was going to get up and
Yeah,
find the broom, but I got high. You see what I'm saying? That
yeah,
whole
yeah,
song was literally indicative of how marijuana can stagnate you and make you not do anything productive, right? So now,
yeah.
my whole thing is this, right? Check this out. As
Okay.
African Americans, right? We need to get started with life
Yeah.
earlier, maybe than other nationalities. Meaning, I don't think we have a choice but to take life serious earlier, right? Because
If possible. Yeah.
a lot of us don't begin to take life serious until we're in our 30s, maybe even
Hmm.
40s, right? So now you know how behind the eight ball you are. Now,
Yeah.
if we take life serious like other nationalities do, if you take Arabs, for instance, right? I come from the trenches. Most of the stores in the trenches is owned by Arabs. If you notice a lot of them, they little kids is in the store being cashiers at 8, 9, meaning they're getting introduced to commerce as kids. So of course, by the time
Yeah.
they're adults,
Yeah.
they have already been primed and ready. Our children aren't even getting
Hmm.
primed and ready. They're already starting off too late.
Yeah. 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 And it sounds like some young people, you have two sides, right? Witness the first side. The first side is you have the young person who probably is just like you said, they're using marijuana for recreational purposes, and they associate marijuana usage, especially the higher strains, with having
Right.
fun, with levity,
Mhm,
with just
mhm,
playtime. You know,
mhm,
that's really
mhm,
where a lot of young people are. They just want to have fun, and they associate marijuana with that. But
mhm,
you also have, now we're talking about, after you get past the fun, we're trying
mhm,
to take people off marijuana, because after fun and they get
mhm,
serious about life, basically
mhm.
marijuana is not going to help you achieve that life. Is that what we, does it kind of describe the two segments of marijuana user, the one who's having fun with it, and the one, if they want to achieve, needs to come up off of it?
Right, and it also depends on the individual we dealing with too. E- e- Everything doesn't have the same effect on everybody, right? Because a lot of times people like to look at people and be like,
Okay.
well, look at Snoop Dogg. He's 100 millionaire. All he ever did was smoke trees. What are you talking
Mm-hmm.
about? Well, guess what? You ain't Snoop
Okay.
Dogg. It's different when you ain't Snoop Dogg. Everybody don't have the same
Okay.
effects as everyone else, right? So you got to go from a case
Mm-hmm.
by case basis too. And what are the odds of you becoming Snoop Dogg? Let's be realistic. Probably 1 in a trillion, right? So let's be realistic with that too.
Okay.
When you want to point out rich celebrities that made it off marijuana. No, let's be realistic here. Now, so at the end of the day, right? And we got to think about critical
Yeah.
thinking. Let's go to critical thinking for a minute. If your
Mm-hmm.
mind is always blazed, it's really going to affect how you deal with problems. A lot of times you
Mm-hmm.
might not be able to really cipher problems properly, right? Or or
Mm-hmm.
let's take if you a woman, if you a young woman, strung out on marijuana, right? It might even
Mm-hmm.
affect the decision making ability. It
Okay.
might even affect who you procreate with because you made a bad decision because
It's going to
your
affect the
feelings were taken
fetus.
over by marijuana. Well, we're gonna get there. I didn't even get there, but I'm saying like affecting your
Yeah.
decision
Yeah.
making ability. Like you could be with a guy. Next thing you know, you laying down. You ain't even use protection now because you're so caught up in the sensations of how
Mm-hmm.
good it feels. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So my
Yeah.
goal ain't to tell you to not smoke marijuana. That ain't my goal. My goal is to
Yeah.
highlight the potential problems of it and for you to consider that. That's my goal.
Yeah. Well, just as a curveball, I read one report according to the National Institute of Health when they were studying athletes. Now they said that overall, and they surveyed over 46,000 athletes. They said about 23% of the respondents reported using cannabis within the last 12 months.
Mhm,
However,
mhm.
where two studies of these surveyed persons, two studies found that marijuana use had a negative impact on their athletic performance, but then
Mhm.
there were another two studies that found it had no effect on their performance. I mean,
Right.
like you said, the results can be mixed.
Right. It's not
What about that? Yeah.
right. It's not one effect affects all, right? It's not one result that's
Mm-hmm.
just paintbrush across the board. There's different individuals. There's
Mm-hmm.
probably some people out here
Yeah.
that can't catch HIV. There's probably
Okay.
some people out here that red blood cells are so strong it can fight off, or the T cells can fight off HIV. But what is that? Maybe
Yeah.
1 in a million people, right? So
Yeah.
everybody is different. Our anatomy is different. Our genetics are different. So there will be different effects on different people, right? But my
Yeah.
whole goal is I want us to give ourselves our best chance to succeed. A lot of our young black boys and young black girls out here already ain't even got no father in the house. You already growing up in the trenches. You do
Mm-hmm.
not have no savings. You are
Yeah.
not getting a head start in life, right?
So so
So
so so it's not going to help you get a head start, right? Definitely,
right,
right?
right.
It's not going to help you
Meaning
get
that
ahead.
meaning that your mind got to be working on 10. You got to be on 10, not 9.
Okay. Yeah. And so that really begs a question when talking about urban communities, especially those disenfranchised communities, especially African American type.
Which it affects the
I
worst, of
guess
course.
if
'Cause
you
everything bad about America affects us the worst from the urban community. Now go ahead.
that I agree. So if you talk about AIDS, you got the worst statistics in African American
Yes,
communities. You talk about
yes.
unemployment, you got the
Everything
worst
bad.
statistics in African
Everything
American
bad about
communities.
America
Yes.
affects the urban community the worst. Continue.
and, and including the topic tonight, which is the adverse effects of high
Hmm.
potent marijuana usage, especially
Hmm.
among teens. And the
Right.
thing with that, then, it would seem to me that knowing, because you said this personally on many different podcasts and many different episodes, you said that a lot of things can be Googled now. You
Hmm.
emphasize that we live in the what? Information age,
Hmm.
that people have
Hmm.
access. And most people kind of know that if you're going to be successful, you got to start early. I mean, do you think
Hmm.
the average teen doesn't know that?
I think the average teen probably doesn't think about that. And that's
They don't think
for a
about it.
multitude of reasons. I think your average teen, just like me, when I was young, I didn't think about what life was going to be like when I was 40. I didn't think about that.
Okay.
To be honest,
Okay.
coming from the trenches, I didn't even think I would make it to 40. I mean, that's another
Okay.
story in itself. So,
Yeah.
with that being said, let's highlight that. Actually, you know what? Yeah, let's highlight that for a second. A lot of young people from the trenches, depending on the life you live, probably don't even think they're going to make it to 30, depending on the type of life you live. If you the type of dude that's always in drama and in beef and getting in serious beef out here, you probably can't see past 25. Right? But the reality of it is, what if you do make it past 25? What if you do make it to 35? What if you do make it to 45? What if, and so on and so on. And the thing is, we got to be prepared for if we do. Now, let me tell you another interesting study. Now, I'm going to tell you a positive, right? This is what I do like. I like the fact that this new generation, studies show that they're drinking less alcohol now. They're smoking more marijuana, but they're drinking less alcohol. So that's quite interesting.
That's good, or that's just interesting?
The reason why I say that that's good and interesting, because for one, I personally believe alcohol is worse than marijuana. Okay, so if you ask me to pick the lesser of two evils, I would rather somebody smoke bud than drink, because ain't nothing like a bad drinker, ain't nothing like a drunk cat, ain't nothing like a drunk female. Oh man, they the worst. And then if you look at drunk driving and drunk driving casualties and fatalities and cirrhosis of the liver and how it kills your kidneys and organs and how it make you look old after a while. So if I'm looking at the lesser of two evils, I would rather you smoke marijuana, if you ask me. So that's why I said I do like the fact that the consumption of alcohol is dropping. So I like that.
Well, and there's another report for those who don't know. According to the National Library of Medicine, actually, it is in young people ages 18 to 25 who use cannabis the most. And interestingly, since 2002, it's decreased between the ages of 12 to 17, while it has increased a lot for people who are 55 years and older. So, but young people 18 to 30 to 25, that's a wide age range. That group is the highest using cannabis group, which still is not saying that's mutually exclusive with the fact that people have moved from alcohol to marijuana more. That may still also be true, but young people 18 to 25 using it the highest, which makes me think, what is it that they see about their future that makes them think that marijuana, that they don't care enough about a certain aspect of their future to where they see that marijuana either isn't going to hurt them from their future or they're not concerned about it.
I'm gonna be real with you. I'm gonna be real with you. A lot of people weak-minded in this world, and a lot of people followers. A lot of people is on this monkey see, monkey do type stuff, right? Even when I was a shorty, it was like that. So it's even worse these days. So a lot of people smoke marijuana because they think it's cool, or a lot of people smoke marijuana. Why? Because everyone else does. A lot of people smoke marijuana. Why? Because every rapper smoked marijuana. You see what I'm saying? So when you look at it like that, a lot of people didn't even have a reason to smoke marijuana. A lot of people didn't even per se want to get high, but they see that it's so popular that they want to be a part of it. It became a trend, right? It's like how when Balenciaga became cool, everybody wanted Balenciaga. When Dior became cool, everybody wanted Dior, right? So weed became a trendy thing to do after a while too. So that's why in that age bracket you see so much of it, because a lot of that is because it became a trendy thing as well. It's almost like marijuana use became attached to cool. It's like if you don't smoke weed, you a lame. If you don't smoke bud, you ain't cool. You feel me? So rap is kind of connected to that too, with all the rappers being as though it looks like they all smoke marijuana.
Yeah. So then what we're dealing with is a generation, and if 18 to 25 is the greatest using age, according to one study, what we're dealing with is a generation who's not really seeing they don't see marijuana as an adverse contributor to their future. They just see it as cool. I mean, I guess that's the problem of like how some people see alcohol use as cool, cigarette smoking as cool. Marijuana is still a popularized drug, if you will, even though it has negative effects on one's future. I mean,
it became synonymous with the urban community, which is crazy because it seemed like we always so cool with negative things. Not to say that it's negative or positive, but let's just say this. We always cool with things that aren't overtly positive being synonymous with the urban community. Like we're always cool with that. A lot of things that aren't overtly positive always become synonymous with the urban community, and we always just let it ride. We always cool with that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now,
so this episode has got to challenge somebody's thought. Somebody should be challenged to think, well, why am I doing it? It's not necessarily cool. The statistics show that it can hurt me. They
Mm-hmm.
got to be exposed to that thinking just as much as they've been thinking it was cool before, right?
Right, absolutely, man. And then you got some rappers out there that's faking the funk. They got rappers out there that don't even blaze or drink, but they portray that they do in their music and make it cool to the kids. Like, for instance, 50 Cent, when he came out, he made that song High All the Time on his first album. 50 Cent don't smoke weed.
Mm-hmm.
He don't smoke weed,
Okay.
but he made a song called High All the Time. So stuff like that, like
Okay.
a lot of celebrities and their idols will portray things that they don't even do themselves.
Okay. Yeah, and that's going to resonate. That type of thought should resonate with people. If their motivation is because they had a role model doing it, then if they were
Mhm.
to know that their role model is really not a believer in it, or is thinking of coming off of it themselves, that might make the youth second guess it, right?
Right. And it doesn't help the fact that while they growing up, they see their mama smoke bud and their daddy smoke bud. Let's just keep it real. In the trenches, a lot of dudes, mamas, and daddy smoke bud. So it's almost like a damn family tradition at this point. Rolling the L is a family tradition. That's crazy.
So then so then AC, then who is it that is going to get this no more marijuana message out? Whose responsibility is that? How can you get that to that 18 to 25-year-old age grade or age
Now,
range? I
now
mean,
I'm not that, okay? Because I don't want the circle, I don't want the red circle with the line going through it over my picture on the net as if I'm the person that's overtly adverse to marijuana. No, that ain't what I'm doing here.
no more forest fires. You remember that? Smoking, no
You
more
see, you
smoke,
feel me?
you know.
Yeah, that ain't me. You did.
Yeah.
What I am doing is this. I
Okay.
just want people to make sure they got their life in order and their ducks in order and not allowing marijuana to keep them stagnated. So therefore they grow old without accomplishing their goals because they're living in a facade where marijuana make you think everything's cool when it ain't.
Okay. That is a valid perspective. And again,
That's all I'm
again,
saying
so
essentially. You feel me? I used to smoke mad bud, sip, drink, all that. So I'm not sitting here trying to be a hypocrite. But because I got older, I was able to notice a lot of the negatives and things. And I know one of the,
yeah,
like Dame Dash, let's take Dame Dash for instance. Dame said he ain't start smoking bud until he became a millionaire.
yeah.
Now, when you're a millionaire, if life is all about money, that means you have made it. You have succeeded. You have won the game of life if you believe life is all about money. So if you want to start
Okay.
smoking bud when you're a millionaire, I don't care. That's your business. But if you broke, you ain't got no degree, you ain't got no certification, but you want to blaze all day. See, that's my issue. That's goofy.
But isn't that the exact reason they are using it in most cases? Because they are without a sense of hope for the future. I mean, isn't most drug use a byproduct of a lack of intrinsic either hope or intrinsic aspirations for greater? I mean, that isn't that the reason that they're using it, because they don't see a greater path outside of marijuana.
But that's unfortunate because think about it. You born, you got your brain, you got your limbs. Man, the world is yours. There's nothing you can't
It
do in this
can
world
be.
that you don't put your mind to. You put your grind to, you get your shine on. You know what I'm saying? That's all you got to do. So instead of running from problems, you got to address them, especially when you're young. You ain't got nothing but space and opportunity, and you don't need to run from it because you can't run that fast. Problems is like Usain Bolt; they're gonna hawk you down.
Yeah. So then what's your recommendation to the youth who's questioning right now, should I use it? Should I not use it? What's your hook that's going to get them to stay, to reconsider using marijuana?
All right, bam.
What's your
Like I'm saying,
strongest hook? Your strong.
make sure you got your ducks in order and the direction you're going with your life. Once you got your direction going in your life, you know what I'm saying? You ain't got to worry about your brain being in a fog, and now you can't even critically think to figure out which direction you want to go. Now, mind you, this is a case by case basis because everybody ain't the same. Some people are just self motivated, whether they on drink, green, lean, whatever, still get to the bag. Some people like that. But unfortunately, there's a lot of people that ain't like that. So my message is mainly for the people that ain't like that. Sometimes you might need to clear your mind and focus on your grind.
And what I would say is that most people who started, because you did allude to the notion that marijuana can be physiologically addictive if it
Mm-hmm.
started early,
Mm-hmm.
4 to 5 times apparently, if it started at a certain age, more
Mm-hmm.
addictive. What I would say is that for everybody considering, and for the young people who are thinking of smoking or smoking currently, I say this. Now listen, I'm gonna give you something that you probably never heard before. It's exclusive right now. One of the number one reasons that I think people should not use marijuana, especially our young people, is because if you really think about it, one of the original reasons that you got involved with it was most likely because of some negative experience or some negative identity that you somehow adopted. And when you really think about who you are, your identity using marijuana is one version of your identity. But the average person does not want to link. They realize they have something greater inside of them, that their identity doesn't need marijuana in order to be valid. It's like the outlaw mentality. Like a lot of people who smoke cigarettes, they wanted to be, I was one of them at one point in time, a rebel, right? You see what I'm saying? And guess what? When you're not known for something positive, guess what you're going to be known for? Something negative. You have to be known for something negative. And I think a lot of people, marijuana has been a kind of a rebellious thing where they've adopted a degree of a negative identity, and that identity has become synonymous with marijuana. But the identity, if you really think about it, they really want to be a positive person, and that person actually does not need marijuana to achieve. We just got to find an outlet where their positivity innate can have expression. That would be my argument.
Absolutely, yo. So yeah, man, I agree with a lot of what you said. So I'm gonna give my final caveat on this, right? I'm gonna
Yeah.
say, one of my last reasons why I think, okay, boom, check this out. If you young, a lot of us have babies young in the hood. Let's just keep it real. We have babies young, 15, 14, 16. We having babies and everything, right?
Okay.
Before we procreate, we need to cleanse our body before you think about procreating. The mother and the father. You need to make sure you're off alcohol, off lean, off pills, off marijuana, everything. At least a year, 6 months to a year. Plan to have a baby. Get off everything. Clean your body out. Because if you're on marijuana and stuff like that, and you out here procreating, you heighten the probability of your baby having cognitive issues. Because a lot of this generation right now
Okay.
that's around here all have cognitive issues because their daddy had alcohol in their system. Their daddy had lean in their system. Their daddy and their mama had marijuana in their system. And we wonder why a lot of young folk, we look at them, we be like, damn, what's wrong with them? A lot of them got cognitive issues because they were
Genetics.
conceived with their parents having drugs and alcohol in their system. So you want to have a
Okay.
clean system before you procreate as well.
I think that's another great reason. I
Yes, sir.
definitely represent for that.
Yes, sir, man. So, Urban Streets Podcast, we had to drop a gem on them. Word to Mob Deep. Rest in peace, Prodigy. We glad y'all came through. I'm your host, AC Brown. This M. Morris. Man, we're going to come back and slide and hit y'all with another one. Thanks for watching. Show love to the channel. Like and subscribe if you love the content. And we're going to get right back with y'all. Go on. When you got your family, you know you got it all. Them the ones that's going to be with you every time you fall. Summertime barbecues, let's do it in the park. When you got your family, you know you got it all. Them the ones that's gonna be with you every time you fall. Summertime barbecues, let's do it in the park. Grandparents and